Welcome back to Special Rules in Level 10, where we will be covering Shaddah this time. Now, Shaddah is pretty exceptional. There are quite a few variations that will happen with Shaddah, so let's get right into it. The first one is that similar to Sukoon, when there's an empty letter before a Shaddah, it will be ignored when reading, but there's a few differences here too. But first, let's look at an example with just an empty letter. We have a wow, and then we have an empty letter, and we have a Shaddah. Just like Sukoon, we will just skip that empty letter and go straight to the Shaddah. Walla, walla. But here's a difference. When there's a Sukoon even in between a letter with a Shaddah and the letter with the marking on it, even the Sukoon will be ignored, you guys. So here it would have been min, but looking up ahead, there is a Shaddah coming up. What is going to happen? We are going to be ignoring this noon with a Sukoon and this alif, and this is what it's going to be pronounced as if it is simply mim and lam, millah, right? Here's an example with just some letters in between. We have between the kaf with the fatha and this dal, we have an alif and a lam. We are going to ignore both of them. It's going to be kaddi. Okay, here's another example of that sukoon variation. We have aqimu. It would have been aqimu up to this point. But looking up ahead, we have some empty letters, and we have a sad with a tashdid. This will become overpowered. Tashdid will overpower, Shaddah will overpower our sukoon, and we are going to say aqimussa, right? It's going to go straight to this, and it's going to be pronounced aqimussalata, aqimussalata. Going to skip this as well. There's nothing on it. Aqimussalata. Okay. Second rule, if a Shaddah letter comes after a tanween letter, tanween means what, guys? A double mark, an, in, un. Okay, the tanween, what will happen to it? It will drop and be read as a single mark instead. Here we have a dal. It has a an sound on it. It has a fathatain, double fatha. It would have been then, but we're looking up ahead. There's a tashdid coming. Tashdid is so overpowering. Shaddah is so overpowering that instead of then, how are we going to connect this? It is going to become dhal in order to connect to it. There's no way to really even say, if you think about it logically, there's no way to say then and then connect it to the lam. The same way you can't say min and then connect it to the lam. So similarly here, dhal is going to have to alter itself. It's going to drop one of these fathas so that it can connect. Dhalla, okay? Rinwa, furra, okay? And so that is another variation with the Shaddah. Sometimes two Shaddah letters come in a row, you guys. What will happen then is you're just going to connect from Shaddah to Shaddah. So we're going to first connect to this Shaddah in this example. You have ya, it's going to connect to the dal, yadha. But then we have another Shaddah, so we're going to bring that sound over here. So a dal, is going to connect to this kaf, dhak. It's going to then say the sound on it, ka. So now we have two Shaddahs going on. We have a yadha, but then we have dhakka. Bring it all together, yadhakka. يذكر يذكرون يذكرون. Okay, and sometimes even more Shaddah letter come in a row, and so here we have multiple Shaddahs happening. Let's do this one down here where there are four connections being made. Here we have dorri. Then we have ra connecting to this ya, riyun, but we have another ya, so this ya is going to connect to this ya. The shaddah is going to get dropped. The double mark is going to get dropped and become a single mark. It's going to be yun to connect to this yun, yu, durri, yun. Okay, durri, yun, and then yuqadu. If a shaddah letter comes after a sukoon, the sukoon will be ignored and the shaddah will be connected. We already did this. These are just a few more examples of that variation. Qaf with the dal connects to the ta. it has a shadda and a sukoon. What are we going to do now? We're going to ignore the dal with the sukoon. We're going to bring it straight to the ta. Shadda is overpowering. Shadda is very strong. That's another way to think about it. Shadda is very overpowering. It can make many changes and alterations to the things before it so that we can get to that shadda. Qad ta, the dal is going to be eliminated. We're not going to even hear it anymore, so it can connect straight to this ta. Qad ta. It would have been kun, sorry, but instead we need to connect to the lam instead. Kulla. Okay. Here's an example. We have min, but now it's not min anymore because we need to get to the shadda. The letter with the sound on it, the mark on it, is going to connect to the shadda. Mirra, mirra. And then ra is going to connect to this other shadda here with the ba, rabbi, mirrabbi. Okay, so really take the time to go over the shadda rules, and then there is a mixed review for everything up until this point to get some good practice in, to really practice our recitation. These are almost to the point, you guys, where we are reading big chunks of sentences that actually come from the Quran. These are parts of verses from the Quran itself. So be really proud of the progress you have made up until this point, inshallah.